Good evening, Facebook Live. Apostle Terrence Lyons of Ecclesia Ministries here in Murfreesboro, Tennessee. Coming to you on tonight, bringing you tonight's Bible study. Pray that everything is going well for everyone. Couple things straight here. Ready to rock and roll. Pray that everything has been going well for everyone. Down to about 14 more days, 12 to 14 more days to before Pentecost time. So it's hopefully we've been getting you prepared. That's the main reason why we're doing all of these messages about weight. Good evening there, sis. Good evening there, Prophetess Tanisha. That's why we've been covering this deal about the weight. Because again, you're just following the instructions of what God gives me, and want to make sure that we cover everything that He wants covered in this specific time. And I think tonight's, if it hadn't already broke you free, got you to a place to where you know how to wait and deal with weight. If you hadn't gotten there, I think tonight's going to get you there. I think tonight will have us prepared to a place. We'll have one more Bible study before Pentecost time, and this one's different. This year, completely different. For those of you that have partaken of Pentecost, you've got a couple of them under your belt where you've celebrated, paid attention to all of that, honored those days with us here at Ecclesia. If you'll be honest, this one's, everything leading up to this one's different. Some might consider it a bad thing. Some might consider it a good thing, but it's been different. And being able to embrace that, go with the flow, and really begin to step into what's supposed to be happening during this time. Because during this time of Pentecost, and in between Passover and Pentecost, it's a preparation time for knowing that God's going to meet you. And if everybody will be honest, you've been having some flashes of His presence on a higher level. Now, that is not to be mistaken of. Good evening there, Miss BB. Good evening there, Prophetess Elizabeth. I want you to understand that that's not to be mixed up with the power that's coming, because everybody's going to be equipped in a way like you haven't seen before. It may not happen in a dramatic fashion. You may just pop up and be like, wait, it's different. So I want you to understand that that's how it might just happen, or it might be dramatic. It might be to where you feel his presence like you've never felt it before. However he wants to do it. I just know this year is different. I can attest to that myself. And I have been following this and watching this for over 20 something years now. So want to go ahead and get digging into tonight, because one of the questions, good evening there, Miss Latanya, with our question tonight. It's going to require for you to look at yourself in a different way, because this question sets it up to where you can't get away with not looking at yourself. And this question puts it in a fashion to make sure that everybody has to evaluate themselves. Are you, good evening there, Overseer Melissa, are you, yeah, you, all of you on here, all of you that's going to look at this, are you worth the wait? Both of them. Are you worth the length of time? Are you worth the level of glory? Are you worth the weight, the WAIT and the WEIGHT? And if you ain't got to a place to where you can say yes right off the rip, that's what I'm after. That's what I'm after, is you being able to say, yes, I am worth the wait. Whether it's WAIT, whether it's WEIGHT, I'm worth the wait. Yeah, I'm worth the wait for that job. I'm worth the wait for that relationship. I'm worth the wait for being in that. I'm worth the wait, whatever the wait is. Are you worth the wait? That's that. So let's go on and get this started. So some of y'all done put it in, but if you ain't put it in, go ahead and put it in. Type it in. I am worth the wait. I'm worth it. You feeling like, and that's the thing. I want you to make sure that this is a healthy view of yourself, because that's all I'm after. I know God put you here for a specific reason. I know he did. It ain't no question. So now what we've got to address is how you're looking at yourself. Uh-oh. 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 Ooh. How you looking at yourself? How are you when you wake up in the morning and you might have slipped up and you might not have done what you needed to do? Do you still feel like you worth the wait? Do you still see yourself as being worth the wait? We're going to address that. We fixing to dig into that. So to go ahead and get this started, I want to start out in the book of First Chronicles, chapter 4. First Chronicles, chapter 4, verse 9 and 10. Because starting out in this, there was a while back. I mean, I don't even remember how many years ago now, but it went rampant with the prayer of Jabez, and then it peaked, and then all of a sudden you don't hear nobody talking about it. You don't hear nobody responding to it. And the thing I want you to understand is this prayer, these two verses that I'm about to read to you, they're about to put something in place that I want to make sure that you are able to embrace. Because Jabez has some stuff to overcome. He has some stuff to overcome in the house. So I know all of y'all probably like, well, wait, what did he have to overcome? I'm about to show you. So in First Chronicles chapter 4, verse 9 and 10 says this. It says, and Jabez was more honorable than his brethren. Uh-oh. Sounds just like a Joseph thing happening again right here. Remember how Joseph got a coat of many colors? Even though he was the youngest, he ends up getting that coat of many colors, and he stands out differently than the rest of his brothers and sisters. And all of you, I know you had the same thing. You stood out differently from your brothers and sisters. And you're supposed to, because you're not them. So I need for y'all to type that in. I'm not them. You're not them. I know they've been comparing you to the rest of the family and the rest of the siblings, but you ain't them. You're not them. This is what I want you to understand. Goes on, it says, Jabez was more honorable than his brethren, and his mother called his name Jabez. But see, that name Jabez, Yabitz. What that name actually means is grief, sorrowful. So this is what his mama named him. That's why I said he has some stuff to overcome in the house. And that's why I want you to understand that if he's able to overcome what he overcame, you ain't got no excuse. But I want you to understand something, because he understood how to have prayer on his team. See, so when I was showing y'all everything about who's on your team, and we're still in looking at that part of the series, and we ain't even talked about no humans yet. We ain't even talked about no how to know who's on your team in the flesh. We ain't even talked about that yet. We've covered almost 6 or 7 weeks, but I want you to understand something very important about Jabez right here. Says his mother called his name Jabez, saying, because I bear him with sorrow. Whew. That's a heavy weight. That's a heavy weight starting out. He's a child. He's newborn and already named sorrow. And mama is saying, I named you this because I birthed you with sorrow. So I want you to carry that for the rest of your life. I'm going to name you that. See, because names have some meaning. Okay. And that's why you got to understand. You don't need to be just naming your child anything. You don't need to be just doing it, because that's playing a part. Every time they say their name, they're speaking into existence the definition of their name. So for anybody that's fixing to have some children, be mindful of what you name them. Name them the name that God gives you to name them. But I want you to see this with Jabez, because the fact that his mother, right off the rip, right out of the womb, is saying, yeah, I bore him with sorrow. She didn't get the memo of Jeremiah 1. She wasn't naming him. She wasn't naming him according to who God spoke into existence. She was saying, no. I'm naming this one based upon what I've been feeling, what I've been going through. I'm naming this one by sorrow. So watch this. So verse 10. So evidently Jabez got some sense about him. And that's what you got to do. You got to get some sense about you sometime. You got to decide, you know what? Yeah, I know that's what I was named, but I am not surrendering to the definition of that name. Watch this. So watch verse 10. It says, and Jabez called on the God of Israel, not the God of Jacob. He said, he said, I don't need the trickster. I don't need the God of the trickster right here. I need the God of the chosen. Uh-oh. I need the God of the chosen right here. And this is why I need you to get this. It says, Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, oh, that thou wouldest bless me. He said, I need your chosen blessing. I need the blessing of what you put me here for. I know you put me here to overcome some stuff. And see, that's what y'all need to understand. I need you to type that in. He put me here to overcome some stuff. That every one of you on here, he put you here to overcome some stuff. He put you here so that you could be an ambassador of his kingdom. So he put you here to overcome some stuff. And Jabez is the first thing he set to overcome is this sorrow that his mama named him. So what I need you to understand is, since he put you here to overcome some stuff, there's some weight that he wants you to know how to lift. There's a weight that he wants you to know how to endure, because he put you here to overcome some stuff. So this is what I want you to get. He says, Jabez called on the God of Israel, saying, oh, that thou wouldest bless me indeed and enlarge my coast. He said, I don't need to just know how to get over what this is here in the house. I don't need to just know how to get over in the house that I grew up in. I don't need to just know how to get over that. I want you to enlarge my coast, because I want you to show me the fullness of my function, so I can know how to carry my weight, so I can know what to do with my weight that you gave me, so I would know how to distribute this glory that you put on my life, because you put me here to overcome some stuff. And I know you did. And since you did, I need to understand who I'm chosen to be, what I'm chosen to do, how I'm designed to overcome stuff, because I ain't like them. I ain't them. I'm not a part of that. So this is what I want you to see, because this is key. He says, and enlarge my coast, and that thine hand might be with me. And that thou wouldest keep me from evil, that it may not grieve me. Now, if it had stopped right there, if that was the last part of that verse, that'd be one thing. But it goes on and it tells us something. It says, and God granted him that which he requested. It says he granted him that which he requested. This is vital because I want you to understand some things. This is before a manifestation of Jesus Christ dying on a cross on our behalf. So we've got Christ who came and lived and is the propitiation for our sins. And he's the one that is the one that stands in the gap for us and the one that has activated covenant for us so that we can get a yes to God's promise every time we ask. So he's getting this before there's a Jesus Christ to be the mediator and to be the one that goes before God and all of that. So he's getting all of his stuff that he requested answered before that. So now here we are who has our Savior. So there should be no reason that you shouldn't be getting what you requested. Or is it just you haven't been requesting? Is it that you haven't known what the promise is? Or is it that you haven't known what your purpose is and the fullness of your function is? Because some of you are probably asking for things that don't fit your function. That should be the only reason that you're not getting what you requested answered is you asking for things that don't fit your function. So y'all type that in. Make sure you fit your function. Make sure that whatever you're asking for fits your function. Well, don't be asking for stuff that don't fit your function, because everything that he asked for right here fits his function, and that's why he got what he requested. So our first point that I want you to take in tonight is how you see who God built you to be determines how you value yourself. How you see who God built you to be determines how you value yourself. Because remember the question, am I worth the wait? Am I worth the wait? The answer is yes, because he built you to be here in this appointed time and season. So the answer is yes, you're worth the wait. But if you're not understanding how to ask for what fits your function, then it will cause you to begin to not believe in yourself like you should be believing in yourself. So how you see who God built you to be determines how you value yourself. All right. So now let's go to the second point. Let's get ready for our second point. So for our second point, I want you to go to Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 21. Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 21. Because it's there, I want to walk into this second point. Get you rolling here, because I feel like there's something that God himself wants to drop off to you right here with this one. And I'm going to make sure it gets dropped off properly so that you can begin to fit your function. See, so I don't know who this is for, but I feel like I got to lay it out here. So everything that you step into going forward should fit your function. Everything that you ask for should fit your function. Everything that you put your focus on should fit your function. See, because if you're doing it for somebody else, That's why some of you are not getting the results that you're pursuing, because you're letting what someone else thinks about you motivate the decisions that you're making, and it ain't fitting your function. And since it ain't fitting your function, that's why you're frustrated, because whenever you're seeking things that don't fit your function, you start to get frustrated. I don't know who that was for, but watch this. Now, in Proverbs 20, in verse 21, it says, an inheritance. So look at what we're dealing with. An inheritance. This ain't talking about a harvest from planting seed. An inheritance. We are heirs and joint heirs with Christ. So there's a level that ain't even requiring our work. It just requires our maturity and our acceptance of what he's got to give us to fit our function. An inheritance, watch this, may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See, because some of y'all dealing with some stuff right now. It was designed to be yours, just not at the time that you got it. It was designed to be yours, just not at the time that you got it. You got it hastily. God spoke it to you in prayer and you took off. You rolling. You went and got it, and then you got it and been wrestling ever since. He said that was the job, but you took off too quick. He said that was the relationship, but you took off too quick. He said that was the house. He said that was the car, but you took off too quick. he said, I meant for you to have it. He said, but there was some development that I wanted to walk you through before you actually got it. And you took off too fast. So it was supposed to have been yours. But you was a little premature on that. You was trying to handle it in a way that I wasn't yet ready for you to function in. So this is what I want you to get. He says, an inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning. So he's saying, okay, you heard right. I meant for you to have it. It's yours. But you went prodigal because you got it premature. Ooh, that ain't even in the notes, y'all. That ain't even in the notes. That ain't even in the notes. You went prodigal because you got it premature. So now, I gotta show you. I gotta show you how this is supposed to properly go. So he says, an inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning. See, and that's what you have to understand about Jacob and Esau. It wasn't that God didn't want to bless Jacob. It wasn't that he wasn't going to take him to his proper level and walk him into all of that. But him and Mama got together and they put together a process for him to get it faster and go through all of that. And no, we're going to make you the firstborn and we're going to do all these things. And again, I need for you to understand what Jacob was going after was appointed to be his. You say, why aren't you talking crazy? How do you figure that? Because what he was going after, God spoke to his mama because he said, the elder shall serve the younger. See, a lot of people forget about that part. But that's what was said to him. That's what was said to her about Jacob and Esau. See, and I know that just messed with some of y'all right there. I ain't got time to go there tonight. We might cover that some more on Saturday, but if you know the book, you know I'm telling the truth right there. If you know I'm telling the truth, just say you telling the truth, Lines. Just type something in there just to know. If you know for sure, and if you don't know, don't put it in there. But I know I got some on here that know the word. If you know that's true, just say yeah, you in that, Lines. You teaching right. So this is what I want you to get. This is what I want you to get from this right here in Proverbs 20 and verse 21. Because this is what it says. An inheritance may be gotten hastily at the beginning, but the end thereof shall not be blessed. The blessing of the Lord, it maketh rich, and it addeth no sorrow with it. Except when you try to get it hastily, when you try to get it before time, when you try to get it beforehand, when you try to get it outside of the plan that he means for you to get it by, it's going to have some sorrow tied to it. And see, that's what's been baffling some of you. I know God said this. I know he said this was the one. I know he said this was the relationship. I know he said this right here was the job. I know he said this right here, the house. I know he said this right here is the one. But doggone, this is getting on my nerves. Why is this getting on my nerves like this? You probably got it hastily. There was probably some more information that he wanted you to have before you got what you got. So here's my second point. Don't cause yourself unnecessary weight, W-E-I-G-H-T, solely because you don't want to wait, W-A-I-T. Don't cause yourself unnecessary weight solely because you don't want to wait. Don't do that to yourself. But this is what I needed to get, because remember the question, are you worth the wait? So now let's get ready for this third point. So for our third point, I'm going to take you to two different places. Let's go to the book of Judges, chapter 7, verses 9 through 15. Judges, chapter 7, verse 9 through 15. And then I'm going to put a twist on another passage to help you see something. Judges, chapter 7, verses 9 through 15 says this. Judges, chapter 7, verses 9 through 15 says, and it came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. So he's telling them, I got it set up. The victory is yours. It's yours. So Gideon's done went through a process. This is dealing with Gideon here. Gideon has went through a process and he's gotten to this place. Now it's just about time for them to actually have the battle, but he just dwindled him down on some stuff. He just dwindled him down. He started out, he tells him he's a mighty man of valor. He accepts that. He then like, okay, I'm going to put you in control of the army. He puts him in control of the army, but he says, hey, there's too many in this army. You got 22,000. First day he said, look here, go have a speech. Go tell them, hey, if you're scared, go home. And they pretty much almost cut in half. Then after cut in half, it goes down. Lord said, there's still too many. I need you to take them down to the water. I'm going to show you something. I'm going to show you some characteristics, take them down to some unstable things. And I'm going to show you some characteristics to let you know who you want with you and who you don't want with you. And see, to some of you, that's what you've been dealing with over the past 3 to 4 weeks. He's been showing you who you want with you and who you don't. You're welcome for that. That wasn't even a part of this. But I want you to understand this. He's telling Gideon this. He walks him through all of that process, takes him down, and he dwindles it down to 300 men. So he goes from 22,000 down to 300. Some of y'all done watched your bank accounts act up. Some of y'all done watched your bank accounts dwindle down. Some of you done watched different things from relationships that, it started out and you were on cloud nine, and here you are. You're at a place. You're like, what are we doing here now? What's going on? So some of you had the same thing going on with the kids. Some of you had the same thing going on with the ministry. Some of you had the things go on in the many different ways. It started out up here, and now it's down here. Did you say this, Lord? I thought you told me this is how you wanted to bless me. I thought you told me this is what you put me in. It is. But I need to make sure that you trust in me for the entirety of the process, not just for the prosperity of the process. See, some of y'all are only trusting him for the prosperity of the process, not the entirety of the process. So this is what I want you to get. So now we've gotten to the end of his process. Gideon is about to step into the purpose that God gave him the army in the first place. Just about got in there. So he says, came to pass the same night that the Lord said unto him, arise, get thee down unto the host, for I have delivered it into thine hand. Verse 10. But if thou fear to go down. See, all God is wanting you to do is just own whatever it is that you're feeling. He puts it in his hands and says, I done gave you the victory and I done gave you everything. But if you're still scared, look at what it says. But if thou fear to go thou with Furah, thy servant. He's saying, okay, take somebody that you're familiar with. Take somebody that you know with you. Because I'm about to send you to a place that you don't know. And I'm about to send you to a place that you ain't familiar with so that I can encourage you and strengthen you. See, some of you are in unfamiliar places and God is trying to encourage you and strengthen you there, but you are so focused on it not being like you wanted it to be that you're missing the encouragement. He's trying to show you, will you pay attention to where you at? And still ain't nobody bothered you? Will you pay attention to where you at and you still ain't lack nothing? Will you pay attention to where you at and notice that I got a hedge of protection around you? Even when you lost all of them that said they were down with you. I don't know who I'm talking to tonight, but this is what I need you to catch. He's saying, look here, take somebody that you're familiar with you, go to a place that is not familiar to you, and I'm going to show you that I've already set you up for this victory. So he says, go with Furah, down thy servant, down to the host. Verse 11, and thou shalt hear, watch this, what they say. He said, watch it. He said, thou shalt hear what they say. He's talking about the enemy that they are about to fight. And he's saying, I want you to go listen to what they're saying about you. I want you to go listen to and hear, watch this, how they see you. Ooh, watch this. He Hear what they shall say, and afterward shall thine hands be strengthened to go down unto the host. Then went he down with Phurah his servant unto the outside of the armed men that were in the host. And the Midianites and the Amalekites and all the children of the east lay along the valley like grasshoppers for multitude, and their camels were without number as the sand by the seaside for multitude. Wait a minute, time out. I thought you were sending me here to encourage me. So you sending me down here to see how much I'm outnumbered? See if you ain't seeing your problem properly. So I told you that Saturday, until you see your problem properly. He finally sees the problem properly. He's not caught up in the fact that you just dwindle my numbers down, and then here I am looking at these, and he's saying they got soldiers all over the place, they got chariots all over the place, they got animals all over the place. They stacked, and you just dwindle me down. Because he'll dwindle you down from what will slow you down when it's time for you to take the pace that he means for you to take to your purpose. See, this is what I want you to get. We'll deal with that pace later. But watch this. Goes on, verse 12, Midianites, Amalekites, all the children of the east lay along the valley like grasshoppers for multitude. Camels were without number, and sand by the seaside for multitude. And when Gideon was come, behold, watch this, there was a man that told a dream unto his fellow and said, behold, I dreamed a dream, and lo, a cake of barley bread tumbled into the host of Midian, and came unto a tent, and it smote it, that it fell, and overturned it, that the tent lay along. And his fellow answered and said, this is nothing else save the sword of Gideon, the son of Joash, a man of Israel. For into his hand hath God delivered Midian and all the host. And it was so, when Gideon heard the telling of the dream and the interpretation thereof, that he worshipped and returned into the host of Israel and said, arise, for the Lord hath delivered into your hand the host of Midian. So he got encouragement in the presence or in the proximity, not in the presence. They weren't singing, but he was close enough to see them. So he was in proximity. So he got encouraged in the proximity of his opposition. Oh, that'll preach by itself, but that wasn't even in the notes. Watch this. So he encourages him in the proximity of his enemy after he hears, because he's got to be close. They ain't got no bugs and no military devices here. But he's close enough to hear this person, his enemy, say, man, that's Gideon. That ain't nothing but Gideon coming in and overtaking this camp. Let me take you to the other passage that I need for you to see. So now I want you to go to 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 2 through 7. And it's going to look like these two have nothing to do with each other, but just hear me out. 1 Timothy chapter 3, verse 2 through 7 says this. Now remember this about Gideon, but I got to show you this in 1 Timothy chapter 3, because remember our question. Are you worth the wait? W-A-I-T, W-E-I-G-H-T. So 1 Timothy chapter 3, verses 2 through 7 says this. It says, a bishop then must be, blameless. Say what? This ain't got nothing to do with no bishop. Pastor, what you talking about? What Why are you even talking about these two together? What it says the husband of one wife, vigilant, sober, of good behavior, given to hospitality, apt to teach. Not given to wine, no striker, not greedy of filthy lucre, whereas not after money, but patient, not a brawler, not covetous, one that ruleth well his own house, having his children in subjection with all gravity. For if a man know not how to rule his own house, how shall he take care of the church of God? Verse 6. Verse 6 is the key that I want you to catch here. Not a novice. Not a rookie. Not a young convert. Not somebody who ain't got no experience. Not somebody who's still wet behind the ears, a little Rudy Poo. Not that. Can't have one of them in this spot. Not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, he fall into the condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have, watch this, a good report of them that are without. So in other words, the ones that ain't like you, the ones that can't do nothing for you, if I go talk to them and say, how has this person treated you? What are they going to tell me? It says, have a good report of them that are which are without, lest he fall into the reproach and the snare of the devil. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why did you even bring up a bishop? Why did you even bring up this spot right here? Because I need for you to begin to think with me and to begin to see yourself in the proper way. One of the purposes of ecclesia ministries, understanding that ecclesia means the body of called out ones. That means that you as an individual are the church. Each one of us as individuals is the church. We're a body of called out ones. We come together collectively and we make the overall body of the church, but each individual is considered the church. You're called out. You're an individual part. And when we all come together collectively, we begin to make the body at large, each part fitly joined together, all of those things. So what I want you to understand is you are bishop over your earthly self so that you surrender yourself to Jesus. It's your responsibility. It's your responsibility as an individual to surrender yourself to your Savior. So I want you to understand and keep in mind as you're looking at this passage right here, I want you to see yourself as the bishop of your church, your individual self, managing your individual self, dealing with your individual self. Not nobody else. I don't want you thinking about nobody else in this moment right here. Don't say such and such should be hearing this right now. No, I don't want you thinking about anybody else but you. You are the one. I don't want you thinking about your family. I don't want you thinking about anybody else in the church. I don't want you thinking about Sister Holy Ghost Jr. that should be here. I don't want you thinking about nobody else but yourself right now in this moment. You are the bishop. You are the one that is designed to oversee you and your relationship with the Most High through Jesus Christ. Since you are the one that's responsible for that, I want you to understand you need to be blameless. You need to be focused on being his bride, focused on being who he put you here to be. Not what the world says, not what the Western American church says, not any of that. nobody but you. I want you thinking about you and him right now. That's it. So you should have good behavior. You should be given the hospitality. You should be apt to teach who he put you here to teach. Because he put you here to teach somebody. He put you here to be an example for somebody. Your group might not be as big as my group, or your group might be bigger than my group. I don't care which one. He put you, and you have to know how to teach that group. If it's 1, 101, 1,001, 10,001, doesn't matter the amount. You need to be apt to teach and ready to teach whoever he's put you in front of. If he's got you in front of 300, that's why I wanted you to understand Gideon. So I wanted you to see that passage before we looked at this, because look at who he had to get straight first. Gideon had to get himself straight first. He had to get himself to the place that he had no fear about what he was put in place to do. So God himself is dealing with Gideon in this same fashion right here. I'm setting you up to be blameless before I send you in to do what I put you here to do. So it's nobody else's job but yours to deal with your fear, because perfect love casts out fear. He is giving you the perfect love, but are you accepting the perfect love? He is giving you power, love, and of a sound mind, but are you still functioning by fear, or are you functioning by what he's given you to function by? So when he goes on and he says, not giving a wine, not a striker, not after the money. See, that's why some of you are struggling with the job and with the situations, is because you're focused on the money. He's saying, look, if you're mine, you don't need to be focused on that. That's not saying you can't have it. That's not saying I'm not going to put you in possession and steward of, not owner of, steward of a bunch of money, but that don't need to be what you're pursuing. You need to be pursuing me, and then I'll guide you to the rest of whatever is required for you to function how you're fit for. He goes on and he says, I need you to be patient. I don't need you to be fighting. I don't need you to be covetous. I don't need you. I need you to rule your own house well. I need you to make sure that you got self under control. So y'all type that in. Get self under control. That's your job. Don't worry about nobody else right now, because you're meddling. I need you focused on you. Get self under control. Because look at what else he says. And then he says, know how to rule his own house well. How shall he, if a man know not how to rule his own house well, how shall he take care of the church of God? He said, you worried about all the other warfare and how all other people are acting. He said, I need you to worry about you. Get yourself under control. Because until you get yourself under control, you ain't worth the wait yet. Ooh. You ain't worth the wait yet. What value do you have if you cannot even control yourself? You're going to make it a headache for somebody else. This is what I want you to get. This is what I want you to get right here, because I'm about to give you this third point here. Because remember what I said Saturday, until you see your problem properly. Remember that. Don't forget that, because I'm finna show you something. He says, not a novice. See, some of you don't even know what will trigger you, what will hold you back, what will strengthen you. some of you don't know enough about yourself yet, but you want somebody to come and be a part of your life. So you want somebody to come and be a part of your business. You want them to come. You don't even understand how you function individually. How we gonna work together and you don't even know yourself good enough to be under control. Watch this right here. Because he goes on and says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride. Because see, once things start going good, but you don't know yourself in good, you've only known yourself in survival mode. And that's why he can't bless you with what he's wanting to bless you with yet, because the only mentality you got is survival mode. That's the only way you know how to function. So so if he did give you an abundance, you still got survival mode in your head. So you won't even be able to do everything that he put everything in your hand to do. Teach them lions. So this is what I want you to get. He says, not a novice, lest being lifted up with pride, you fall into condemnation of the devil. Moreover, he must have a good report of them which are without. Now, let's get you ready for this right here, a third point. Because this is the key. You need to see yourself properly before you engage in what he put you here for. Let's go back, think back to Gideon. The first thing God addresses with him, he says, now I've set it up to where this enemy is already defeated. They're already defeated in their mind. They're already defeated in the plan that I've given you. But if you are still scared, if you still have fear, I need you to go take care of that first before you go trying to engage with the battle that I put you here to fight in. So you need to see yourself properly before you engage in what he put you here for. So now let's go in. Let's start getting real deep. So let's get ready for this fourth point. So in the fourth point, I need you to go to Matthew chapter 13, verses 44 through 46. We're going to dig deeper into Matthew 13, 44 through 46 on Saturday. But I need to touch it right here just a tad, just to wet your whistle, just to get some things going. So watch this. Matthew 13, verse 44 through 46 says this. You catch this. Matthew 13, verses 44 through 46 says this. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field. I'm trying to do right, y'all. I'm trying to do right. But watch this. Kingdom of heaven is like unto treasure hid in a field, the which when a man hath found, he hideth, and for joy thereof goeth and selleth all that he hath, and buyeth that field. And we talked about that some Saturday, but I'm about to show you something different. So look at verse 45 and 46. It says, again, the kingdom of heaven is like unto a merchant man seeking goodly pearls, who when he had found one pearl of great price, went and sold all that he had, and bought it. So notice in verse 44 is a treasure in a field. So the treasure ain't harvested in this one. But then in verse 45 and 46, it's talking about pearls of great price. So that's harvested. So one treasure's been harvested and one treasure hasn't been harvested, but both have value. So now let me show you what our fourth point is. Value seen determines actions executed. Value seen determines actions executed. So the work that gets done is based upon the value that's seen. See, one's a field, and it's not harvested. It's there. It's within the field. So this person has to go and purchase the field. The other one, it's harvested. The pearl, they've already went and they've gotten it out of the clam. They've already gotten the pearl, and now they find one of great price, and it's like, okay, that one right there, I know that one got high value to it. Let me go get rid of everything else, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna buy this one. I'm gonna take everything else and I'm gonna buy this one. So once that value is seen, that determines the actions that are executed. I ask you, were you worth the wait? Do you see the value in yourself? So if you see the value in yourself, why you keep talking crazy to yourself? Why you keep talking down to yourself? Why do you keep thinking that you're defeated every time you come into a situation to where there's opposition against you? Do you not see the value in yourself? I am teaching somebody right here. So this is what I want you to get. Because value seen, whether it's already harvested or whether it's still hidden in the field. See, some of you haven't found your value yet. That's why you haven't been able to tap into your purpose yet. Some of you are still not looking at yourself as valuable. You're looking at everybody else and thinking that they're valuable. This is what you got to get. This is what you have to understand about what I'm saying right here. Because when I give you these last 3 points, we are going to be ready to take off. If you have yet to see that you are a treasure, the fullness of your function cannot come forth yet. So I need y'all to type in for me, I am a treasure. Type that in for me. I am a treasure. Because this is what you got to catch as we get ready for our fifth point. See, in our fifth point, I'm going to show you a couple of passages again. But I need for you to understand that before we go to these 2 passages. Because if you don't yet see yourself as a treasure, I am a treasure. This is what I want you to get. Until you see yourself as a treasure, you can't get to the fullness of your purpose. So I want you to go to Micah chapter 7 and verse 7, because I'm about to address something right here. Micah chapter 7, verse 7. Then Micah chapter 7, verse 7 says this. It says, therefore, I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. I ask you if you was worth the wait. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. That's important. It's important for you to understand that right there, because in verse 5 and 6, you don't even have to type these in there, but I want to show you this so that you can understand why verse 7 has the weight and the value that it does. In verse 5 and 6, it says, trust ye not in a friend, put ye not confidence in a guide, keep the doors of thy mouth from her that lieth in thy bosom. For the son dishonoreth the father, the daughter riseth up against her mother, the daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. A man's enemies are the men of his own house. And notice that doesn't say the people, it says the men. The reason I want you to understand that, and that's why I didn't want you to zero in on this. I wanted you zeroed in on verse 7. But I want you to understand what I'm fixing to explain so that you can understand why your opposition hasn't went anywhere just yet. Going to after tonight, after I point this out to you, but it's going to make all the sense in the world. You have been taking a childlike mindset to fight a man level problem. Listen to what I just said. You've been taking a childlike mindset to deal with a man level problem. So I want you to understand what's going on right here. See, the people that have been closest to you in your family, in your household, those that are around you, those that have known you since you was a little rooty poop, and then you grew up, and now you done got closer, you done got stronger in God, but every time you get around those people, you feel like you back down to being that little rooty poop. You feel like you back down to... This is why I want you to understand this. That familiarity has got you to a place of surrendering, in a place where you should be feeling superior. Because verse 7, it says, I'll look unto the Lord, not unto who I used to be when I was growing up. It just clicked for some of you. So every time you get around somebody that's familiar with you, you dwindle down. Every time you get around somebody that's familiar, watch this, with your struggles or with where you failed before, you just can't seem to get up enough strength to be your new self around them. Are you worth the wait? So every time you get around them, you dwindle back down. You dumb yourself back down. You lose confidence, and you just start back agreeing with them. Yeah, I'm just a little old such and such. Yeah, I'm mama's boy. Yeah, I'm mama's baby. Yeah, so you just go back to that. He says, therefore I will look unto the Lord. I will wait for the God of my salvation. My God will hear me. Well, guess why he'll hear you? For this right here. So now I want you to go to Psalm 52, verses 8 and 9. Psalm 52, verses 8 and 9. Because it's right here is the key. It's right here finna set it up for some of you so we can go ahead and get these last 3 points in, because I feel something is fixing to break open for not just one, about 2 or 3 of y'all on here. Might be more than that. But you about to really break free right here. Psalm 52, verse 8 and 9, it says this. It says, but I am like a green olive tree, in the house of God. I trust in the mercy of God forever and ever. I will praise thee forever because, thou hast done it. And I will wait on thy name, for it is good before thy saints. So the olive tree, the tree that's got the healing in it, the tree that, is that that's what I am in the house of God. Not just anywhere, in the house of God. In the place that he planted me, in the place that he put me, in the place that he means for me to be. That's who I am right there. Now, this is for our 5th point. Because he says, I'm a green olive tree in the house of God. Watch this. For our 5th point, how you value you determines how long you will wait. I am fixing to break somebody free right here. See, some of y'all are still waiting on certain people to value you before you'll try to move on. You're waiting on other people to see the value in you before you feel like you're really ready to move forward. And I'm trying to help you understand right now how you value you determines how long you will wait. Some of y'all done waited too long because you've been waiting for the wrong people to see your value. You need to see your value first. And once you see your value, because, see, I got to go ahead and tell y'all this so that you can get ready for Saturday and get your saliva glands going. See, until you value you properly, how you gonna present your value to somebody else and you don't even value yourself properly yet? Teach them lions. See, because until you value yourself properly, you keep presenting your childhood self in a place that you feel like is supposed to be your destiny. So if you feel like you at your destiny or about to be in your destiny, then we're going to have to figure out how to have a better presentation of your value. But I ain't going to fool with that till Saturday. So watch this, because this is where I need you to catch some things. So now let's get ready for our 6th point. So now I want you to go to the book of Acts, chapter 1. The reason we've been talking about this waiting for so long, I got to take you to Acts chapter 1, because they're waiting until for the day of Pentecost to come. So in Acts chapter 1, verses 1 through 5, it says this. Acts chapter 1, verses 1 through 5 says this. It says, the former treatises have I made, O Theophilus, of all that Jesus began both, watch this, to do and teach, until the day in which he was taken up. After, watch this, after that he, through the Holy Ghost, had given commandments unto the apostles whom he had chosen, to whom also he showed himself alive after his passion by many infallible proofs, being seen of them 40 days, and speaking of the things pertaining to the kingdom of God. And being assembled together with them, commanded them that they should not depart from Jerusalem, but wait. Wait for the promise of the Father, which saith he, you have heard of me. For John truly baptized with water, but ye shall be baptized with the Holy Ghost not many days hence. Now remember our question. Are you worth the wait? Are you worth the W-A-I-T? Are you worth the W-E-I-G-H-T? Are you worth the wait? Now, like I said, I told you the answer is yes, and I've been showing you through all of these other points, but I'm reiterating right here because I'm about to help you with something. Your life has consisted of multiple levels of waiting. Everybody's does. So I don't want you to think God's been picking on you because everybody got to wait. Everybody's got a W-A-I-T and everybody's got a W-E-I-G-H-T. Everybody. Don't care who you are. If you're here in the earth, coming or going, don't matter. You got wait. You got to wait. Everybody. Now, here's why I'm pointing it out so that I can show you this 6th point. In verse 3, it says, to whom also he showed himself alive after his passion. See, some of you are on the other side of your passion. You say, Lions, what are you talking about? See, what you got to understand is your passion is an experience usually of a high level of pain. So what this is talking about is after the crucifixion, he's showing himself to the apostles and to the disciples. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He entered some rooms. He let Thomas touch him. He's done some things even up before here. I'm asking y'all if y'all worth the wait. Boy, so watch this. Some of you have experienced some difficult things. It might have just got finished last week. It might have just got finished this morning. It might have been finished a couple of weeks ago, but you're still feeling the pain. He says, I'm checking to see if you're worth the wait. I'm checking to see if you see that you're worth the wait. He knows you're worth the wait. That's why he got you on the other side of that passion. That's why he got you on the other side of that experience. He says, I know what I put you here for. But I don't know if you see your value yet. So y'all throw that question in there for me. Do you see your value yet? Because I've been trying to make sure that as I slow walk through this, you begin to get a fire built up in you to begin to understand you got value. It's your time. He's ready to do some things in your life like you ain't ever seen before. But you have to know that you are worth the wait. You have to know that he's been waiting to put you on display. He's been waiting to use you as a representative of his kingdom. He's been waiting to show you as an ambassador for his kingdom. He has been waiting to send you as leader of that army. He's been waiting. But the question is, do you see your value yet? Because this right here is our 6th point. Because like I said, you have been in a series of waiting processes. Every wait, whether it's a WAIT or WEIGHT, every wait should increase your power when you're finished with it. See, when you lift weights, after you put that weight down, that should have gave you some more power. It should have gave you some more strength. So every situation that you encounter, if it has any weight to it, whether that means it's got a length of time before it actually manifests for you, or whether it has a weight of stress, a weight of emotional of emotional fortitude, if it's got any kind of weight on it, after that weight is finished, you should increase in a level of power. Because that's what happened in verse 5. That's what he's telling them. He's saying in verse 4, he's saying, don't move. Stay right here. After this weight is over, you're going to have a power from on high. He said, but wait for the promise of the Father. He said, the Father is wanting to give you something, but I need you to stay right here just a little longer. I need you to deal with this weight just a little longer. Because I need for you to see your value before the weight's removed. I need for you to see exactly who I put you there to be before this thing takes off. So now let's get ready for our last point. As our last point, I want to take you back to the book of Proverbs, Proverbs chapter 25 and verse 8. Because in Proverbs 25 and verse 8 says this. Says, go not forth hastily to strive, lest thou know not what to do in the end thereof, when thy neighbor hath put thee to shame. Hey, why you pick a scripture like that to end that? Because I need you to see something. Because remember, the question is, are you worth the wait? The WAIT and the WEIGHT. It says, go not forth hastily. He said, don't be trying to rush it. Don't be trying to hurry up and fight. Don't be trying to hurry up and get the fight over with. See, that's what a lot of you try to do. You're afraid of opposition. So you try to make it as least lengthy as possible. See, I need for you to understand that the value that you have, you actually, you got a long fight in you. You got a lot of fight in you. The value that you have in you right now, you have a lot to stand your ground in. You have a lot to stand your ground by. He said, I didn't give you a spirit of fear. He said, I'm going to teach you how to war. He said, and when you understand how to war and you know your value, the fight happens differently. See, because when you understand your value, remember one of our earlier points, Value seen determines actions executed. When I begin to understand my value, it's certain fights I ain't even got time to engage in. You ain't even worth my time fighting. But then there's others that because I understand my value, it's a fight that you don't want to fight me in because I understand my value. And since I understand my value, the way I'm going to execute this fight is to annihilate you. So if that ain't your mindset, you ain't wanting to fight me. So this is why I want you to get this, because are you worth the wait? Because our last point is this. Your pace can either prosper your purpose or paralyze it. Your pace can either prosper your purpose or paralyze your purpose. That's why it's saying, don't go forth hastily, lest you know not what to do at the end. See, and that's what's messed some of you up. You went rushing into what God promised you. You went rushing into what you thought was set for your purpose. And when you went rushing into it, you didn't sit back and let him show you the plan. You didn't sit back and let him show you the expected end. He said, I know the thoughts that I think towards you, thoughts of peace and not of evil, to give you an expected end. He says, so the outcome that I got for you is worth the wait. But it's only worth the wait if you see your value. It's only worth the wait if you see your value. So this is why I got to get you to understand this. Your pace can either prosper you in your purpose or paralyze you in your purpose. And can't nobody set that pace but you. But if you don't think you're worth the wait, you'll try to rush through some things. You'll try to speed those things up. And as you try to rush through them, you're actually paralyzing your purpose. See, because when you go through it at the proper pace, it prospers your purpose. But if you go through it too fast, look at what he says. He says, lest you don't know what to do at the end. You was headed the right direction, but you rushed through the process. You missed, watch this. You missed some value increases along the way. See, because it's some things within that process that he wanted you to take the time to deal with that were going to increase your value so that when you got to the fullness of it, the fullness of your value matched the fullness of the purpose that you're walking in. Teach them lions. So here's all the points again. Point number one, how you see who God built you to be determines how you value yourself. Point number two, don't cause yourself unnecessary weight solely because you don't want to wait. Point number three, you need to see yourself properly before you engage in what he put you here for. Point number four, value seen determines actions executed. Point number 5, how you value you determines how long you will wait. Point number 6, every weight should increase your power when you're finished with it. And point number 7, your pace can either prosper your purpose or paralyze your purpose. Saturday morning, gonna be at location B. We'll be in Kingdom Dominion Multiplex in Shelbyville, Tennessee, starting around 10 a.m. Should be online roughly 10:30ish on exclusive Ecclesia. So be glad to have you tune in there. If you have not become a part of exclusive Ecclesia, whoever invited you to this page, you can ask them, hey, exclusive Ecclesia, can you add me? Then you can be added. If you do not, if you just rolled up on us just because somebody say flashed across your screen to go to Ecclesia of Murfreesboro, you can shoot me an inbox. And all you got to do is type exclusive, and I'll send you an invite. All you got to do is accept that invite. You're part of exclusive Ecclesia. So again, Saturday morning in Shelbyville, Tennessee, Kingdom Dominion Multiplex. Apostle Karen Bolden is over that facility. My sister, Kingdom. So we'll be there. 10 a.m. I said, not in the area, be online on about 10:30ish on exclusive Ecclesia. So I pray tonight has been a blessing for you. This weight has definitely been a different weight. But I pray that tonight some WEIGHT was removed off of you so that you could see that you are worth the wait. I love you guys. Appreciate you taking your time to tune in to us on tonight. Have a blessed rest of the evening. Peace.